now. Live, this is 8 News Now at 5.
Disappointed and frustrated. That's how some CCSD teachers and staff are feeling after learning a promise to increase their pay is not being kept. Thank you for joining us at 5. I'm Brian Loftus.
And I'm Christiane Klein. The tentative CCSD budget for the 2019-2020 school year was presented to the Board of Trustees today, and it does not include salary raises. 8 News Now reporter Orca Mann is live in the studio with a look at why and what's being done to solve that issue. Orca?
Well, Christiane and Brian, Governor Steve Sisolak promised CCSD employees a 3% salary increase for the next school year. But as it stands right now, this lengthy tentative budget created by the school district does not include that. CCSD says it's because they're required to present a balanced budget to the state. To break it all down, the school district has $2.4 billion in their general operating fund. CCSD is projecting they will get an additional $55 million for the 2019-2020 school year, but they say that's far less than what they need in order to increase employee salaries. The district's chief financial officer says the $55 million increase is needed for what they're calling essential items, which includes new schools and special education. And there simply isn't enough money for employee raises. But employees say they are strapped thin. One teacher tells me she has to proctor exams on the weekends and teach summer school just to make ends meet.
These are all things that I have to do outside of my contract hours, which, detracts and takes away from my personal experiences. I've got 4 kids. I would much rather be spending time with them. My own personal family budget is having to make cuts.
In a statement to 8 News Now, Governor Steve Sisolak said in part, quote, "This remains a top priority for me, and I will continue to work with school districts and legislative leadership to ensure this 3% raise gets to our educators." Again, we want to stress that this is a tentative budget, so there is still some time for things to potentially change. The final budget must be approved by the Board of Trustees in May, and CCSD needs to send that final budget to the state in June. Back to you.
Thank you, Orca.